What up, cucks? It's the hater, and it's time for your daily video up in this bitch. All right. First of all, I'd like to welcome Mega F Gusto to the friendship, motherfucks, because he's a new subscriber. We also have a few other new subscribers, but once again, they don't show up in the notifications. So if you decide to subscribe today and you want a shout out, I suggest you write it in the comments, and I will get to you eventually. You understand what I'm saying? Now we're going to talk about the ill fate of WrestleMania. As I'm sure a lot of you know, Roman Reigns, motherfuckers, Roman Reigns has been pulled out of WrestleMania, or he pulled himself out, or he jerked himself off. I'm not sure, right? My friend has been texting me all day, telling me things like, Buddy Murphy is not going to be at WrestleMania, like anyone gives a shit. I don't even think he get a match, you know? He was saying, like, Roman Reigns isn't going to be at WrestleMania. The Miz isn't going to be at WrestleMania, right? A bunch of people. Now, he also told me that Edge isn't going to be at WrestleMania, which is a problem, of course, because that's pretty much the only match that matters. It should be the main event. You know what I mean? But there you go. I mean, it's a problem. Andrade, he said, is going to be pulled off. A bunch of people are getting cucked. You know, WrestleMania is looking more and more like a Monday Night Raw. Every hour, really. Like, every hour something happens and people are like, oh, this guy's out, that guy's out, this person's out, this person's out. You know, and I don't know what the point is anymore. I mean, I guess it's too late to cancel it, you know, but this would be a good opportunity to just kind of like reset some things. You know what I mean? Like, the one thing they have going for them is the fact that there's very few storylines going into this WrestleMania, right? Pretty much it's Edge and Orton, and that's it. That's the only storyline. Like, I mean, you could argue that Drew McIntyre has a storyline, but let's be real. It's just the storyline is he won the Rumble, so he's going to have a match. The end. You know what I mean? So the only storyline we have, we can keep, right? You can salvage that storyline. You can have that match. But everything else, just scrap it completely. It's time to make readjustments, you know? Apparently, it's going to be Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Now, Braun Strowman just lost the Intercontinental title. So, in other words, this guy is a jobber now. I don't give a fuck about Braun Strowman. This guy doesn't deserve to be in the main event at WrestleMania, or one of the... Like, if that match closes, I mean, I don't think it will, now that it's Braun Strowman and Goldberg, but if somehow that match closes, that's just the greatest injustice there ever has been, you know? So, in my opinion, it's time to start thinking outside the box. You know, the one thing that WWE has going for it is the fact that their roster is enormous, right? So there is a room to make new matches. I mean, you have to make them by, I guess, Monday Night Raw. I mean, you have like a couple of days to make them, but you have to make them, you know? Like, every WWE wrestler that's in the country, they're probably all in Florida, you know, but every one of those guys should be reevaluated from like a zero starting point, and people should think, all right, how are we going to book this, you know? Andrade is now out of Mania, so that match with the Street Profits is scrapped. More importantly, Andrade is the U.S. champion. You know, simple as this. You strip Andrade. Hey, you got to, in order to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. You strip Andrade, and you have like an 8-man elimination, like a 45-minute match, like 8-man elimination for the new U.S. title, right? Or maybe a 6-pack elimination, something like that, right? Some elimination match with 6 to 8 wrestlers, right, to just create a new U.S. champion. And in this, you put all the guys that are that level, right? Like what I call the mid-card jobbers, you know what I mean? Like, you put in like fucking not Hector Garza, what the fuck's the new one? Angel Garza. Put an Angel Garza, like an R-Truth. You know, you put in like a Tozawa. Buddy Murphy is not going to be there, but you put that kind of caliber of wrestler, right? And you just have one of them just have the best night of his life. So let's just go with Tozawa, right? Tozawa just has the best night of his life and just wins the U.S. title, you know? How great would that be? A new guy is made. A new mid-carder is christened at WrestleMania, right? This is much more interesting than having like Humberto Carrillo or where the fuck, Angel Garza and Andrade versus the Street Profits. You know what I mean? That's a match. That's like an NXT match, you know what I'm saying? That's not even like a Raw match. That's just garbage. Like, the Street Profits, I know they're champions, but in my opinion, they are the worst tag team to come out of NXT maybe ever. Like, there's nothing exciting about them. You know, like, one of my friends keeps telling me, oh, Montez Ford is charismatic. No, Montez Ford is more charismatic than Angelo Dawkins. Montez Ford is not charismatic by himself. If he was a single star, his career would be that of Apollo Crews or Akira Tozawa or one of those guys. That's his level. He's not better than that. You understand what I'm saying? He's better than Angelo Dawkins, but everyone's better than Angelo Dawkins, right? There's nothing charismatic about a guy coming out, dancing, and making a fool out of himself. You know what I'm saying? That's not charisma. That's called making an ass out of yourself. So as far as I'm concerned, they don't need to be on the card. My idea of an 8-man or a 6-man elimination match for the mid-card title is a good idea. Then, since Goldberg doesn't have a challenger, and since people were already pissed off that Roman Reigns just jumped the line and became champion, became number one contender, you don't give this honor now to Braun Strowman. What you do, since you have 2 nights, is on the first day, you set up a tournament of relatively short matches. You can make it a 4-man tournament. You can make it an 8-man tournament. You might as well make it an 8-man tournament and just have more matches, right? A lot of people get a spot on the card. You know what I mean? So the first night should be dedicated to having like one main match and then the setup for the Goldberg match, right? And then in that match, you create a new number 1 contender for Goldberg, and then that person beats Goldberg and becomes the Universal Champion. This could be anybody, right? This could be anyone that you want to put over can be put over in these 2 nights, right? Anyone that you're thinking of putting over in the next few months, do it now. You understand what I'm saying? Or alternatively, right, you pretty much piss on Bray Wyatt some more and you say, look here, fat guy, it's going to be you versus Braun in a meaningless opening match. And then that frees up Cena to have a match with Goldberg, right? Because nobody wants to see Goldberg versus Braun, because I have a feeling it's going to end with a spear and then Goldberg is going to try to jackhammer Braun. And that's like a 20% success rate. You know, like if Braun jumps really high, he might be able to do it decently, right? That's going to be the point of that match, because I don't see Braun beating Goldberg. That's just a waste if Braun beats Goldberg, you know? At that point, just have the Fiend beat Goldberg, you know? Cena versus Goldberg makes the most sense. It's the only other match left that could feel like a WrestleMania match. Everything else feels like shit. Goldberg versus Braun Strowman feels like shit. Anything with Braun Strowman is shit. You understand what I'm saying? No one wins from this. No one wins from Braun Strowman doing this. And then, in order to compensate the fact that now all these people are dropping like flies, I mean like dropping out of the card, I should say, like flies, like The Miz, which ruins that tag match, which no one gave a shit about, right? Take John Morrison, put him in my 8-man tournament, right? And have him win like the first match or 2, right? Do that. Put people over in other ways. Alternatively, cuts, right? There are other ways that people can... my neighbor just came out of their balcony. I wonder if they can hear me. Anyways, so, yeah, take Morrison, take people like that, put them in one of these situations that I've created for you. You understand what I'm saying? That would be the right thing to do. And then, like I said, free up Cena versus Goldberg, big time match. Big match feel, you understand what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see The Fiend, let's be real. Nobody cares whether The Fiend and Cena beat each other or not. That doesn't feel like a WrestleMania match. It doesn't feel like a WrestleMania main event. It feels a little bit like a big deal because John Cena's back, right? But that's it. No one cares. Like, I'm more excited for John Cena than Goldberg. So Cena versus Goldberg would be a dream match. It would be a legitimate match. Like the number 1 WCW guy, undisputed ever, right? Versus the number 1 WWE guy, undisputed ever. It's like the only thing better would be Cena Hogan, which would also be an option if Hogan was in shape. It's pretty simple. You just kill The Fiend, like off screen, something happens, like you just drop an anvil on him, like Roadrunner, right? And he's out of here permanently. I'm tired of this fat fuck, right? And then just Hogan versus Cena. That would be, like, that would save WrestleMania. Oh, it won't be a technical masterpiece. Give Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens 35 minutes. No. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, 3-minute match. Who gives a fuck? Owens stuns him, pins him, 1, 2, 3, get out. Next match, motherfucks. You know, make room for good matches. You know what I'm saying? And use the time wisely to put over new talent, right? Roman Reigns isn't there? Tough shit. Get out of here. Goldberg will now face either John Cena or the winner of my 8-man tournament. That's how I would book it, right? You of course stick with like Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler and some of the other matches, but let's be real, you know, aside from kind of Goldberg Roman Reigns, no actual match that anyone cares about has been ruined by The Miz not being there or the Usos not being there. I don't want to see the Usos or The Miz. You know what I'm saying? I would not wish ill on anyone, but the fact that Miz and the Usos aren't on the card, I consider that to be a positive. It's one less match to tolerate for the good matches. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a match where I would probably make a coffee for myself. You know, now I would have to see it. Good. You know, Andrade and that Street Profits match, that's another positive. Like, that should be a pre-show match anyways, you know? Take this opportunity now that you have free space on the card to put wrestlers there that we haven't seen in a while, to kind of create something. Hell, if you have time and the resources, put Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa on this. That feels like a way bigger deal than Street Profits versus Andrade and Garza. Who the fuck cares about that? Like, is there any fan who's looking forward to that match? Not one, probably. You know what I mean? And then take the opportunity. If you have people like Walter or people that have other titles that are in Florida, because you can't fly over from Europe, presumably, right? But if he's in the USA for whatever reason, which he might be because it's WrestleMania season, so like maybe they flew him in somehow. I don't know. Or maybe he's been here for a while. Have Walter versus, like, I don't know, Velveteen Dream. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but you know what I mean. Have Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream for the NXT title. Throw in some important things and take away bullshit like Street Profits. And who the fuck wants to see that? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, motherfuckers. Take advantage of all the free space and the fact that you have 2 days, right? You could easily have a 4 or an 8-man tournament, right? Take up the entire first episode, first night of WrestleMania, right? You have like an 8-man tournament. That's what? 4 matches and then 2 more, 7 matches. 7 matches, and then have like, I don't know, like a quasi-main event. You know, maybe put like the women's match. Have that, and then like have Becky and Shayna on the first night. Second night, you have the rest of the matches. You know, you cancel a few of them, obviously, because people are going to be canceling them left and right? And then you have Goldberg versus the winner of night 1. And then that night 1 guy can become a champion, and it'll feel like it matters. Like, if Braun Strowman becomes the Universal title holder, then that title becomes the most meaningless title. I mean, it already is, but it becomes even more meaningless than it was before. It's just like, it's like the jobber title now. It's, you know, the guy that lost to Sami Zayn, who hasn't won a match in like 3 years, right? This guy now beats Goldberg. You know, are you fucking insane? Like, Goldberg should be like running through Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Nakamura. Cesaro can't even beat Mansoor. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the fact that Braun Strowman couldn't overcome the odds of those 3 jobbers means to me, de facto and like axiomatically, right, that he cannot and should not be able to overcome Goldberg, motherfucks. So that's the way I would do it. You know, WrestleMania is down the drain already. At least make it memorable and make it unique. Give me Cena versus Goldberg. Give me, or I mean, ideally, this is not going to happen, but ideally, Cena versus Hogan. I mean, I can't really do that. You have to save that for like a big crowd. You know, like, that's like an actual big crowd moment, you know? And please, like, if they do one thing right, it's have Edge versus Orton close the show. No one cares about Drew McIntyre anymore. No one cares about Brock Lesnar, whether they win or not. It doesn't matter. Drew McIntyre's moment has already been ruined. At least with the Edge and Randy Orton segment, right, with that match, the point can still be made. You know what I'm saying? Edge beats Orton, gets his revenge. He doesn't need a crowd for revenge, right? But Drew McIntyre needs a crowd for winning the title at Mania, so then the fucking confetti and shit can fall down. Because it's going to fall down anyways, and it's going to be like, it's going to be lost. It's going to be done. I guess what, I mean, today's Friday, right? They were supposed to tape WrestleMania yesterday and today, so I don't know what's going to happen, you know? You have AJ Styles versus Taker. Hopefully, like, that benefits from this because it's going to be pre-taped. So hopefully it's just like an awesome match, you know? Just keep doing the spots until you get them right and edit it well. I mean, there's still, like, it's possible to salvage it. I mean, people are going to watch WrestleMania no matter what, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, let's look at the card. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, leave that as it is. Lesnar, Drew, leave that as it is. Goldberg, and now Braun Strowman. They already updated it on fucking Wikipedia. You don't need that. You don't need that now. You don't need Braun Strowman getting a title shot. Why did he get a title shot? You know, get him out of here. Becky, Shayna, keep it. John Cena versus The Fiend. Take The Fiend out. You know, just cancel him completely. Fire him if possible. The women's SmackDown women's match, who gives a shit? Taker, AJ, whatever, keep that. Owens, Rollins, just cancel this match completely. John Morrison and The Miz, that's not going to happen, according to my friend, but it might, who knows. Street Profits versus, oh my god, it's now, is this a fucking joke? It's Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza. Have these people, who the fuck is Austin Theory? Austin Theory now gets to be on WrestleMania? And with Angel Garza? This is the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. Fucking It would have been better to put Humberto Carrillo there and just be like, oh, they got over their differences. You know what I'm saying? At least they're cousins. Austin Theory, Angel Garza. Who the fuck cares, man? This is not even an NXT word. This is like an NXT UK match. You know what I'm saying? This is garbage. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Not one person cares about this. Elias versus Corbin. Not one person cares about this. Edge versus Orton. Make that the main event. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. This looks like garbage to me. I am not looking forward to any of this. I think my card sounds a lot better. So this video is going to be short because that's all I had to say. The whole point I was trying to make here was that it can be salvaged if they do it right. And Roman Reigns isn't going to be here, so that's also big news, I guess. But we'll see, motherfucks. I'll see you guys tomorrow up in this bitch. Or maybe later tonight. Who the fuck knows, motherfuckers?